Abita. No, a bumblebee.
What does Bumblebee say?
Pew pew.
Henry, what does Optimus Prime say?
I'm Optimus Prime.
I'm Optimus Prime. And I'm a Disney adult because I was told I had to dress up too. Wait, that means tonight's Halloween. Are you guys ready for Halloween?
Yeah.
But if tonight's Halloween, that means tomorrow is my birthday. And here we are getting ready to leave, albeit a little late. No one's fault. Traffic stunk. So we're leaving Tucson right now about 4:30, which will put us into San Diego with our charging stops and everything about midnight tonight. But that's okay. Even though today's my official birthday, we had nothing planned for my official birthday. But tomorrow we're heading out to meet our friend Diana and her family and do something. Not quite sure yet. Yeah. You heard me. Not quite sure what we're doing yet, but I think we're leaning towards either the San Diego Comic-Con Museum or maybe the zoo, or who knows. We'll find out. So let's just cut till tomorrow because who wants to watch us drive for 7 hours in the dark? So cut till tomorrow now. And just like that, we're in San Diego. However, we got in after midnight last night and I've been up since 6:45 and you've been up since probably what, 6? So it was a long night and an interesting one so far this morning. So it's nice though, we're right here on the bay, which is really cool. There's cruise ships, yeah. And now we're heading to the Comic-Con Museum. We finally decided what we were doing. And it's because A, it was the best priced. And B, since we couldn't get our tickets to Comic-Con just yet, we might as well look at the Comic-Con Museum, which is in Balboa Park. So this is gonna be really exciting because I've actually wanted to see this for years. So let's head to the Comic-Con Museum, guys, yay!
Wow.
I did have to explain to Charlie, it's not like the Children's Museum. He just goes, can we touch stuff? I was like, no. Like I said, I've been wanting to come here ever since its onset and opening, but every time we had a chance to before, it was always closed or something just came up where we couldn't go. But this time, ain't nothing stopping us. Except for maybe Charlie and Henry, because some people aren't listening this morning. Guys, I already feel like I'm home. And we're here during the myth of superheroes, from antiquity to contemporary art. So essentially, most superheroes are based off of most Grecian and Roman myth. You know, the idea and thoughts of either superhumans or demigods and so on and so forth. And this is going to kind of explore that idea and theory. Because the art of storytelling goes back to all the way even back then. You know, the hero's journey, if you will, like Hercules and whatnot. So let's go through and see what they have to show us. So like I said, the journey of Hercules. And here's Hercules' bust. Right next to our modern day Hercules. Except he's more Zeus-like, probably. And comic books themselves aren't just defined by any one specific area or town, country, or what have you. They span all of the world. Like up here, they're already showing stuff like with, for instance, Ajax from a Mesopotamian Babylonian myth from the Eternals, and so on and so forth. But here's the origin of a lot of comics from around the world, like USA. In fact, there was a really cool lecture I did years ago at a middle school where we actually talked about this one right here, Supreme, how he was kind of a Superman without a conscience. Hey, I have this book. From Canada, Brazil, Spain, France, Italy. I mean, they go across the entire gambit. And I love collecting international comics. In fact, my favorite one I have is actually my La Masa 40 from Spain, the first appearance of the Wolverine. A lot of people think it's actually a book from Mexico, but it was actually published and released in Spain. And it's considered by CGC to be a Hulk 181. One thing I learned during my time getting my degree in history is that every myth is usually based on some sort of fact, or at least to explain something that's happening in the world around you. And that's the same thing with the Greco-Roman myth, which we kind of know has evolved and turned into what we consider the modern day superhero story. Let's take a look at some of the statues here. So all these were built to deities, gods, and other, I don't know, characters and myths that explained either power or hunger or famine or strength or whatever. What's really cool is in the Greco-Roman mythology, I mean, all the gods did explain something. So in our case here, we have Poseidon, god of the sea, Athena, goddess of wisdom and war, and then Hermes, messenger of the god, who had to get everywhere lightning quick. If these sound familiar, they probably should. If you're familiar with Justice League and DC Comics, you have Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and The Flash. And if you don't believe me, just give me a second here. Bam. It's really cool. Just like they talked about in the movie Unbreakable, today's comics are really just modern myths. They are modern storytelling. Just like the Greeks and the Romans did before us, I love this stuff so much. And I thought this was just gonna be like for adults only who love this stuff, but there's lots of fun photo ops for the kids. So strong! And the modern comic book mythos began really, I mean, granted they've been around forever, but the superhero comic as we know it was really born with Superman. Then you got Batman, Aquaman, going through all the years, the modern evolution. The 60s were the big jump with the introduction of all the Marvel characters like Fantastic Four, Iron Man, so on and so forth. And my love affair with comics, although born in 1984, really started in this era right here. Which I'm a little shocked because, you know, they have Secret Wars here from 1984. How do you not have the Ninja Turtles on there? Granted, not traditional superheroes, but really defined a generation. On that note, I just got one of my birthday presents, which is a ticket to the Old Man Con in Scottsdale, Arizona at the end of November, where Kevin Eastman's actually going to be appearing, the co-creator of the Ninja Turtles. Super excited for that. It's kind of funny. This looks like my office upstairs, but comic book heroes come in all shapes, sizes, and varieties, including everything from Disney to the dark and gritty to modern day comic book movies. They all tell an amazing story, and I'm really excited for the next room because it's something that near and dear to my heart. Ooh, there's my favorite iteration of Batman right there. Before coming here, like normal, Dan always likes to look up the reviews of the museums we're going to make sure they're kid-friendly, and a lot of people had some complaints that it was just not really comic book focused and not a lot to do, especially for younger kids. Well, so far, that couldn't be further from the truth. Everything is 100% comic book based, and I'm very happy to say I've been impressed with it so far. And so far, every building we've been into in every room has had stuff for the kids, including the scavenger hunt we're currently doing. So that was a myth. Just so we were talking about gods and myths. This is not for kids and whole families was a myth. Something that I just noticed and I will die on the hill for is all these posters all say you'll see it in 3D, IMAX 3D, 3D coming soon. Because all these movies came out really at the height of the 3D craze. I am so glad it's over. I did not like 3D. It hurt my head. And every time we all went to the movies as friends, everybody elected not to do 3D. There's something oddly familiar about this poster. Very familiar. What is, oh. Monsieur Incredible. And like I said, this next room is something near and dear to my heart. The action figures from when I was a kid. And I love all this original artwork. Ooh, let's take a look. These are all done by, looks like Simone Blanchi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But how often do you see all these in the same place? Mego figures, intact, whole, just missing their boxes. Yeah, these are from 1978. Yep, 1978. So we have Superman, Supergirl, Wonder Woman, Mr. Mixoplex. I believe that's Mr. Mixoplex. Yep. Aquaman, Green Arrow. Is that Shazam? Not sure who this one is. Number 8, Isis. I don't think I've ever seen that figure before. You have the Adam West Batman, Robin, Batgirl. These are so cool. Going from DC to the Marvel ones, and that's one that I've always wanted, but I'm not a big action figure collector, but if I were to get one, it'd probably be the Captain America, for obvious reasons. And actually here is the Spider-Man ones. There's a little known fact. There's actually a Spider-Man one that has a different design on the mask. I think it's called the diamond patterned one. That one's really rare and hard to find, and worth quite a bit if you can find one. And just take a look at all these figures. And this is not even the tip of the iceberg. There are so many more out there. Shout out Eric Schock. Got it, got it, got it. As I mentioned earlier, I absolutely love all the different countries' variations of books, like from Italy, for example. Secret Wars number 8. Guerre Segrete, if I'm saying that correctly. But yeah, Secret Wars. Right here, it tells the suspense, but this is a repro from 2006. Floor 1 is done. Now it's time for floor number 3. Great Scott. The only difficult part about this whole thing so far is the kids are overly excited and hyped. Mostly they're excited to see their cousins while they're here, but also, I mean, this is pretty stimulating. I get it. The fitting exhibit for Halloween time. All these amazing old costumes. When I was a kid, like I remember these vaguely from being a child, because they were on their way out as I got old enough to really enjoy trick-or-treating. But I distinctly remember this E.T. one from when I was a kid. Granted, I didn't have it. That was a little bit out of our league. We were the, oh, you want to be the Green Ranger? We're going to go get some green sweatpants, paint your face green, and send you to school. And I loved it. Another room for the kids. There's one of my guys right there, Blade and Daredevil. Looks like these are all by an artist named John Jennings. I do have the feeling we're almost done with the museum, and that is one of the complaints I read online that it actually makes kind of sense. You pay so much to get in here, and it's about maybe half an hour's worth of stuff, if you take your time. If not, you're gonna be in and out of here in about 15 minutes. But it's still fun and cool to see all this stuff, especially all the things the kids can color and draw. Sweet Christmas, Henry. You're gonna draw Luke Cage, AKA Power Man, Henry's work, and Charlie's work. Guess what?
What?
You have something that a lot of people don't have, which is your artwork displayed in the Comic-Con Museum.
It is?
It is. Where is it?
What?
Your artwork is displayed at the Comic-Con Museum. It's kind of annoying because out of the two of us, I'm the professional comic book writer. One more floor to go, and it's actually a Betty Boop exhibit. And Charlie's really excited to see it, apparently, because he's been asking to go down to the first floor the whole time we were here. But it actually looks like there's way more than Betty Boop down here, so let's go see what all it has to offer. And comic books are way more than just superheroes. Everyone from Bugs Bunny to Mickey Mouse, they've all appeared in comic books. And one of the most famous people to be associated with any of that artwork is Chuck Jones. Personally, when I think of him, I always think of the WB Frog. I don't know, I kind of found it funny. In our modern day climate, I'm actually shocked to see Pepe Le Pew in there still. So here's something I saw when I was doing my research for the museum. It's all the masquerade stuff, aka cosplay. Although I'm not a big cosplay person, and I've made this well aware in the past, I do love and respect the talent that goes into this creation. Like, these are absolutely believable. I almost wore the same thing. That'd have been embarrassing. You guys gonna take a picture? All things considered, $10 for this photo isn't too bad, but I'm still waiting for it to print. Let's save final judgment till we actually see it. More cool interactive stuff. You can sit down and take a load off and draw Betty Boop. There's a really cool Batman right at the front. If this looks familiar, there's good reason. It is the same Batman as done on the cover of Batman 423, which we have signed by Todd McFarlane back at home. And what's cool about this particular statue, just like ours, it is also signed by Todd McFarlane. And like any good museum tour, let's end with the trip through the gift shop. So far, looking at all the shirts, the biggest size I can find is a medium. This is a Comic-Con museum. Ain't nobody here wearing a medium. Yeah, I just double checked. They don't have anything bigger than a medium size for any of their shirts right now. It's Comic-Con. I actually thought it was a fun little museum. At the price point, I think it's fair just because it's in the middle of Balboa Park in San Diego. But the things you were writing online said there wasn't a lot for kids and it wasn't very comic book oriented. What were you thinking?
I feel like it would, like there was a lot of stuff to look at. However, I can see where some of the feedback online said they could have done more with the space.
Yeah, and I feel like there definitely could have been more, but I actually thought the exhibits were cool. They were nice. They were more adult-centered with stuff and activities for the kids, but not a lot of exhibits for the kids. The thing that got me is going through that gift shop, which was kind of cool. I was like, oh, cool, I want to get a Comic-Con museum shirt while we're here. The biggest size they had was a medium. You've been to Comic-Con. Ain't nobody wearing a medium. So that was a little disappointing. But we got some cool stuff for the kids. They got posters from their scavenger hunt, which is really cool. And it took about 40 minutes, and we were trying to take our time when we weren't yelling at our child. But I definitely think they could do some more exhibits that actually were more involved and take a little bit longer to go through and see. I feel more than half of it was actually under construction. Well, I'm glad we came so we can say that we did it, but I don't really see us doing this again anytime soon. Unless they got some crazy cool exhibit. Like, I didn't realize that Batman statue at the front that I just showed was actually, it's built and designed off of Batman 423 with the cover by Todd McFarlane. And that one's actually signed by Todd McFarlane, which is cool. Hey guys, now it's next morning. We're actually back at our hotel. Our room is like right up there. We abruptly ended the video yesterday because we got a phone call from our friends that they were there to meet us for lunch. We went and met them, went back to their house for a few hours, and then came back here and crashed because everybody was so tired. I feel like it's becoming more of a theme, those abrupt endings, but you gotta be a parent, and being a parent comes first, and we definitely had to get the kids under control at that point because they were ready for naps, they were overtired, overstimulated, you know how it goes. And now we're just getting ready to pack out and head up to Anaheim for the day. Kind of cool behind us with the boats and everything out here in the marina. I had to let Charlie know, no, we cannot borrow the jet skis because he saw them and just assumed they were up for anybody. I was like, nope, those belong to people, buddy. Now we're getting ready to head to Disneyland. We're gonna go out one more time to meet with our friends before we leave, but it's been a nice start to the trip. So tired, ready to go. Next stop, Disneyland. Final thoughts on the Comic-Con Museum. It was a lot of fun. I don't know if it was worth the time and money. I think it's definitely worth doing once if you're a Comic-Con fan. And the complaints we saw online, some of them were justified where, yes, it's a Comic-Con museum, but there was literally no history of the Comic-Con there whatsoever. It was literally just pop culture things. Not all of them comic book related. Comics related, like Betty Boop, but not comic book. So I would like to have seen more like the history of Comic-Con and those exhibits and things like that going back a ways as its own exhibit, and then rotating exhibits, kind of like the ones we saw with the heroes and like the Age of Myths. So that was really cool and a lot of fun, and I'm glad we went. Will we go back? Probably not. But is it worth a stop once as a comic book fan? Absolutely, especially if you know and been to Comic-Con before. It's just, you're really into that and really into that culture. So that was worth it as much. Price, I get it because it was in the middle of Balboa Park. For what we paid, not a lot going on. But I have to say, everyone that we talked to was really nice and friendly. A lot of stuff for the kids, despite what the reviews say. It's just all in all, it's probably a skip. Ah, well, it is what it is. We're gonna end this video today at some point because we're gonna end it when we get to Anaheim. And this video will probably go up the day after we're at Disneyland. And I almost forgot, all the clocks went back tonight an hour, so we gained an hour, but I don't feel like it. Still up at 5 a.m. their time. Very unusual for my stays at Marriott and Sheraton properties. This one did not have the best of service, and I mean that exactly how it sounds. I literally just had to go into the old bell cart area myself to get the cart because everyone just instructed me, yeah, just go grab one. I was like, you sure I'm allowed back there? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I go back there and grab one. And immediately someone goes, hey, what are you doing back here? I'm like, I was literally told to come back here to grab it. And then took forever for our food. The waiter kind of looked at me like I was a jerk. And I was like, hey, man, can I get the check? Because the kids and Dan had already gone back to the room at this point. So we've been waiting for a while to place our order, then waited for even longer to get our check. In the process of getting checked out here, getting our luggage loaded right now, we just got done with breakfast, and it has not been a stellar stay here, I will say that. We got in after midnight, the first night, and I specifically asked about parking, and the guy told me, oh, just touch your key to the thing, and it'll open up. Well, it didn't, so we ended up having to just pay the regular hourly rate overnight, which was a lot more expensive than what the hotel charges. And then breakfast this morning was not the greatest of service or experience, which is even weirder. And then right now I went up and said, hey, can I get a bell cart? They said, oh no, you're gonna have to go ask the bellhop service. I said, okay, no problem. Went there and said, hey, can I get a bell cart? And they said, yeah, just go grab one. I went back there to grab one. And someone's like, what are you doing back here? I'm like, oh, they told me to come here and grab one. We grabbed that for you. I'm like, okay, well, can I get one? You can just grab it now that you're back here. Okay. It's just been terrible experience so far, which kind of stinks. So this is for my 40th birthday and we stay at Sheraton's and Marriott's all the time. I am a platinum member as of this day, but it's just a really bad customer service hotel experience compared to what we normally get. Oh well, we're gonna pack our car and head up to Anaheim now. You know, it's funny, as I was recording this, I got the text being like, how was your stay? Taking that survey. And this stay at our favorite hotel is actually off to a rough start too, but they already made it good and I still love this hotel. We're at the Sheraton at the Anaheim Park Hotel. Because when we got here, unfortunately, our room wasn't ready yet because I did request that we had a room facing the fireworks because I thought it'd be fun for the kids. Of course, it didn't occur to me that fireworks still happen so late that they're going to be well asleep by the time they happen. And it's still a great room with a great view. We're actually facing Guardians of the Galaxy's Mission Breakout spot on, and the fireworks are going to be a clean, beautiful shot just over the next hotel. I can't wait for tomorrow. We're getting up early and going to the Grand Californian for a character breakfast with Mickey and friends. And then I actually have the Walking with Walt tour tomorrow as well in the afternoon. I'm really hoping it's going to be a great trip because since we decided not to renew our annual passes, this will probably be the last trip for quite a while, which I got a little emotional about earlier when I was thinking about it because I'm so used to coming here 2 to 3 times a year. And now I honestly don't know when we're going to be back again. And I just want to touch on the hotel earlier. Like, I don't know, I've just come to expect a certain level of service from the Marriotts and Sheratons because that's where we had our first big trip together as a couple. We went to Washington, D.C. and we stayed at Marriott and had the greatest service ever that it won me over for life. And we always stay exclusively at Sheraton's or Marriott's when we travel. And that was just really unusual. I'm not too terribly angry, but it was a bad experience. And maybe it's because in my head it's also my 40th birthday and I was hoping for that. But speaking of 40th birthday, I've actually put together a list of things I'd like to accomplish. And I know it's a little corny, but we put them on a t-shirt and I hope to check them off as we go at the park. Little things, and tour Walt's apartment, which I'm gonna do tomorrow. I would love to get the first pickle of the day, but I don't think it's gonna happen tomorrow since we have breakfast in the morning before we go to the park. But little things, now that they opened up the nose to the monorail, I would love to ride in the nose. These are all stretch goals. If they don't happen, they don't happen, but it's gonna be fun wearing the shirt and see what happens. But until then, this has been a great little travel video. Spending 2 days in San Diego with some of our lifelong friends, watching our kids now become lifelong friends was a huge deal. And I also got a nice little workout in tonight. Since I've started eating better and taking my insulin and everything else, I've actually down 22 pounds in 2 months. And I'll be the first to say it's starting to show a little bit. Maybe y'all can see I'm actually developing a chin line again. But until tomorrow, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for taking a ride with us. Let's take another ride again soon. I also can't think of any better way to end the video than with some fireworks. Bye-bye, everybody. Good night, everybody.